All right, so I'm sitting inside of a 2018 Honda CR-V. This is the touring model, so this is your highest end. And I'm just going to walk you through some features and benefits and explain some different things so you'll understand more about your car. Or if you're thinking about buying one, this will kind of give you a quick tutorial. So I'll start you over here on the left. First thing you're going to see is you do have auto up-down windows on your driver and passenger side. I've got my window locks, my door locks, and of course my mirror controls left and right, and then I can adjust on the pad. On the side of the door, you will notice I do have memory seating. This is in the EXL and above. To set that, you would just press set, and then whichever one you want to set, when you have adjusted, just press set. So simple enough, really easy to it. Moving down here onto the dash, you'll notice a couple things. Road departure mitigation is right here. So that's set up to where if I veer off the side of the road, it'll give the steering wheel a shake and start to beep at me to let me know, hey, wake up, pay attention. My frontal collision braking system. What this is set up to do is in the event that I am going to rear end someone, first it'll alert me and start to beep in the car and flash at me, and then it will actually brake the car for me. So this is always on unless you press this to turn it off. As far as my trunk release, it does have a powered tailgate in this model. Your EXL and above has that, so the Tring also does. So that's what this button is. And then vehicle stability assist, this works with my traction control. This is if I went into a skid, it helps transfer power amongst the wheels to correct that skid. So this is always on unless you want to turn it off too. You'd really only want to turn this off if you were stuck in the mud and wanted to spin your tires, so that's what this is for. All right, so moving up onto the steering wheel. Your Bluetooth controls are right here, so to answer a call, to hang up a call or go back, and then using voice command. The voice command button is also going to play some other roles as far as using Siri and using Android Auto is OK Google. So just be aware of that. This is going to play a couple different roles. My I button over here is actually going to affect the screen you press here. So when I press that I button, it's going to toggle through some different screens. So whether I want my turn-by-turn directions, when I have something set up through my navigation system, whether I want an alertness monitor that just keeps an eye on me to make sure I'm paying attention. So if I'm using all the safety features, the adaptive cruise control, the lane keep assist, and I haven't touched, the steering wheel or the accelerator that much, it'll just kind of keep an eye on me. Moving over, if you want your oil life, it'll give you, your percentage as far as that goes. If you want to see what audio you're listening to, you can have that presented to you right there. So just some different screens you can get to here if you want to change from miles per hour to kilometers, things like that. So that's what this is. Down here, if I was jumping between, FM, AM, satellite radio, I could do that here. So that's what this is for. And then, obviously selecting enter on whatever I choose. My volume controls are obviously right here. Cool thing about the volume controls is that I can tap them and I can drag my finger up. So I can drag up and down and it'll adjust it. So pretty cool. A nice little touch that they added to this car. Moving across, show you some of your controls as far as the Honda Sensing Suite. The first one I will show you is the main button. So whenever you hit the main button, you're going to see ACC and LKS come on. So that's what's flashing up there right now. And that's adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist. So lane keep assist is going to be this button right here. This works from 45 miles an hour to 90 miles an hour. It does not work when the windshield wipers are on, so keep that in mind. When I press this, you're going to see these lines flash. So those come on. Now when those lines fill in solid, it means the camera is now reading the road. And that camera is actually right up here in this box. So that's where it's at in case you're wondering. If you use a toll tag, just something to keep in mind, you want to make sure it steers clear of this box by some inches. So you might want to go over to the right or down below. So just keep that in mind also, because it will affect the camera. Other than that, yeah, it'll adjust for you and keep you in your lane. So it'll just kind of pull the steering wheel a little bit in left and right if you start to veer out of your lane or you get near the edge. So that's how it works. It's not jarring. It's something you can overpower, but just be aware that's how it does work. As far as adaptive cruise control, so once I get up to the speed I want to set, I would press the set button. From there, I can select how much distance I want it to keep between me and the car in front of me. And when I press that, you'll see that that's the most distance, lesser, 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 and so forth. So just depending, you got to find your comfort zone on how much space you want to leave in between you and the car in front of you. It will use radar to detect the car in front of you, and that radar is actually in the front of the dash, or excuse me, in the front of the grille, I should say. Whenever it detects the car, you will see a car icon come up right there. So just be aware of that. That's how you'll know, hey, it is detecting the car in front of you and reading it. As far as over to the right, you'll notice your gas gauge is up here. So when it's full, it's all the way up to the top, and it'll work its way down. So just some general stuff there too. As far as lights, so I'm going to move this a little to the side. You do have auto on-off lights, so you can set them right there. And then your fog light controls are right here also. So that's what's going on with your light setup right there. Then moving over to the other side, my windshield wiper controls are right here. So as far as the whole front, I can just shift down and up, and then it is intermittent, so I can affect that. And then the back is controlled by the tip of the stalk right here. So that's what's going on there. All right, so moving over to the center stack. Right now, you can see I've got the screen pulled up here. This is just my home screen. You can also see that I have a live wallpaper running behind this, so that's kind of a cool setting you can add to the car. So I'll go through that if you want to know where that's at, and I can send you a video on how to do this. But let's just walk through some general features. So the first thing I'll show you is navigation. The car comes set up with a Garmin setup. So when you initially pull this up, this is probably what you're going to see, and then from there you can search. and that'll give you all these options. So you can set your home address to where you can use voice command and just say go home, and it'll take you home. Obviously the nearest Honda. You can save places, so if you want to save your work, save your friend's address, things like that that you just know you're going to go to regular but you don't necessarily know how to get there all the time, you can do that. So there's a plethora of ways here that you can search different things, so just know that you have that available to you. It's Garmin, man. They've set this up, but it's really easy. You know, I can move stuff around, I can pinch, I can pull. It's very intuitive. It's what you're used to as far as using your phone, so take advantage of this if you've bought a model that comes with it. As far as your Bluetooth controls, once you've connected up a phone, you'll be able to access as far as your contacts, recent phone calls, things like that, text messages, stuff like that. To add a phone to Bluetooth, how you do that? We're going to go to Settings. From there, you go to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. From there, the second one down, Bluetooth device list. And then we're going to select at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see add a Bluetooth device, and then it's going to prompt you to make sure your Bluetooth is turned on your phone. So that's what this is. Once you've done that, you can hit continue, and it'll walk you through the rest of the process. So nothing to that. So that's how you connect a phone to Bluetooth. Additionally, in the settings, there's some cool features in here that you should know about as far as under vehicles. So this is where you can get to things like your door lock settings, some of your lighting, the auto walk-away lock setup, so things like that. So just be aware that some of that stuff is in here. Door and window setups, this is kind of something I'd typically go through with you. Right now the car's set to where you hit 10 miles an hour to automatically lock the door, and you can change that to a couple different things. When you're getting out of the car, as far as the unlock settings, right now it's set when you open the driver's side door, it'll unlock the remaining doors of the car. You can adjust those here too. So just some different things to keep a mind on. And then the walk-away auto lock. This feature is set up to where if I get outside of 10 feet from my car, it can automatically lock the doors for me in case I forgot. So you can turn that on. The default is always off. So just some different features I like that I would recommend that you take a look at in case you want to change them. So that's what's going on there. So let's back out to the home screen. Smartphone connection, if you wanted to connect up to that, you absolutely could. There is a USB right down in here with a phone on it. Plug into the USB, plug it into your phone. This will then light up with either Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. From there, you'll be able to select it, and it'll pull up a screen. If you use an Apple phone, it's going to mirror basically your phone. You're going to recognize everything. Use an Android-based phone, it's going to use some different cards and setups. It looks a little bit different, but it's going to be very familiar to you. And this just gives you access to things like your navigation off your phone. So if you're using an Apple phone, you have Apple Maps. If you're using an Android-based phone, you have options of Google Maps or Waze, so keep that in mind. It's just kind of nice in case you prefer those. And then you can get to your messages, your music, Spotify, some different things depending on what you have on your phone. Audio-wise, let's walk you through a few different options. So I'll go to my source button right here to show you all the options in the car. You've got FM, AM, 90 days of satellite radio. You do have USBs you can plug into, so there are 2 of them down there. And you can plug in, thumb drives if you want to hook up music that way also, or you can connect them wirelessly to the car. Bluetooth is right here. Of course, it is Pandora compatible. If you use Spotify or any of the other ones, you can absolutely use the Bluetooth symbol and get to them. So don't worry about that. It's not locking you down to one program. So that's audio-wise what your options are. All right, so jumping over to the next one, the info button. This is going to give me options to get to my tripometer information, or if I wanted to load up a screensaver there, I could. So trip info is there. If I wanted to, oops, I jumped back to the wrong button here. If I wanted to load up that screensaver I was just talking about, I could do that. So let's go back and I'll show you where to do it. So info, and then as far as clock and wallpaper, and then I could have something loaded right there, and you could get to it from right there. And all you would do is save a JPEG to a thumb drive, and you could plug it into obviously the USB, and then save that image to right there. So if you want to know how to do that, I can show you how. As far as the rest of this goes, apps, there's not much in there. It's a calculator, general stuff like that, an APK loader. Moving down, your climate control settings are right here, so I can control right and left separate each other. If I want to pull up everything on the screen, I absolutely can, so I can get to this info here. But I mean, I can control pretty much everything from right here as far as my fan speed, where I want the air to go, hot and cold, and you can see your hot and cold is going to show up here, whether it be synced or unsynced. Obviously I can adjust those things, so that's what's going on there. My parking brake is right here. It's electronic. To set it, I put my foot on the brake. I lift up to set it. That'll hold the brake. When you do that, you will see brake up there in red, and I'm going to turn it off so you can see where it is, and then you'll see it come back on. So that's what's going on right there. To release the brake, put your foot on the brake, press down, and it releases it. Brake hold set up to where if I'm in stop and go traffic and the car is in drive, if I have this button on, when I come to a complete stop, it'll hold the brake for me, so I don't have to keep my foot on the brake pedal. I can release it and relax, so I'm not, constantly, wearing myself out as far as my leg goes. So it's just a convenience feature, really. Moving over here, the Econ button, I can turn this on and off whenever I want. When I do, you will see a green leaf come on and off there. It will improve gas mileage of the car. How it works, though, it shuts down some of the electrical systems in the front end of the car, affecting things like the AC unit and your accelerator, so you'll be aware that it's going to limit some things. So that's how that works. Moving down, you do have a power outlet here, and then of course another power outlet in there. Your center console system is set up to where it does have a sliding shelf in case you need to move the seat forward, so you do have that. And then this shelf in here slides, and it's also, you can flip it and flip it around here. So if I want to go down in the bottom, I absolutely can create more space to put like a tissue box in here or put my purse or whatever it may be. So just know that you can do that. This model I'm seeing is actually the Molten Lava Red, and it does have the tan interior with the wood finish, so you can see, just in case you want to get an idea for what it looks like. Other than that, moving up, you do have an auto-dimming mirror. You do, of course, have a moonroof that you can use. I'm not going to do it since it's starting to sprinkle. It does come with home links. You can set up garage clicker, gate clicker, things like that. And then some standard features that have been in this car for a long time. The sunglass holder with a mirror to keep an eye on people in the back. And then, of course, what I call new car stuff, you know, lit vanities and things like that. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can comment on the YouTube video, or you can always reach out to me at jfuller@howdyhonda.com. That's the letter J and then Fuller@howdyhonda.com, or call me at 512-443-4300. Thank you much.